This podcast is an invitation to feel and experience the souls of famous old Hollywood homes and to have an in-depth journey to the areas where they're located through interviews with longtime residents. Either you're a fan of old Hollywood in Los Angeles, planning to have a vacation, or, an even bigger step, considering a certain area for your future home. This is your opportunity to receive valuable information and insightful advice you won't find anywhere else.
Hello, and welcome to my podcast. Are you in the mood for California? Today we'll explore and feel iconic Los Angeles landmarks, followed by an interview with incredible Carolyn Hennesy, who will share with us what it feels like to live in the City of Angels.
Los Angeles is sprawling. So you have incorporated townships within Los Angeles. You've got the Valley, you've got the West Side. There's so much, and it's truly a melting pot that actually hasn't started melting yet, if that makes any sense.
Not yet.
There are so many people here. I mean, so many individual communities where like there's Thai town and Koreatown and Little Armenia and Little India. And you've got all of these places where these masses of the same ethnicity, the same culture, they're very present, but they're all very, very welcoming. So
Masha Korpacheva is a California-based realtor and a member of the National Association of Realtors in Los Angeles. She's an advocate for selling and buying homes with soul and practicing mindfulness in real estate. With master's degrees in spiritual psychology and linguistics, Masha brings all of her skills to work with her clients. An intuit and empath, she has touched many lives with her outstanding ability to see beyond the visible and helping to come to better understanding of issues and their resolutions. An adventurous world traveler, from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania to exploring the Galapagos Islands, Masha has a particular passion for the City of Angels. Having landed in this paradise and adopted it as her home, she's been sharing old Hollywood stories since 2007. In the mood for California, feel the soul of old Hollywood.
And now, are you ready to experience iconic landmarks of Los Angeles? The City of Angels is a sprawling masterpiece of history and diversity. Its sun-soaked streets stretch out like an endless dream, and its heart beats not just within the city limits, but in the 88 distinct cities that make up Los Angeles County, each with its own character and charm. As we embark on this journey through the tapestry of LA, let's uncover the magic of some of its iconic landmarks. Our story begins at the Griffith Observatory, perched majestically on the southern slope of Mount Hollywood. As a new day dawns, the observatory's Art Deco facade gradually brightens, casting its radiant glow upon the city below. Its history is a tale of celestial wonder, as the facility first opened its doors in 1935. Inside, a giant Foucault pendulum sways, demonstrating the Earth's rotation, and visitors can gaze through powerful telescopes to witness the mysteries of the universe. What makes this place truly legendary, though, is its cinematic history. The observatory has graced the silver screen in numerous films, including the unforgettable scene in Rebel Without a Cause, where James Dean and Natalie Wood engage in an emotional dialogue beneath the dome. It's a place where science and the glamour of Hollywood converge, reminding us that even among the stars, dreams can take flight. A little south of the observatory, the Hollywood Bowl is an open-air amphitheater that has echoed with the sounds of music for over a century and has hosted everyone from the Beatles, The Doors, the Rolling Stones, to Frank Sinatra, Stevie Wonder, Jimi Hendrix, Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong, Luciano Pavarotti, and many more. Officially opened in 1922 with a seating capacity of nearly 17,500 seats, the Hollywood Bowl is renowned for its iconic band shell featuring concentric arches that have adorned the venue since 1929. Set against the picturesque backdrop of the Hollywood Hills and the Hollywood sign, imagine a warm summer evening, the twilight casting a gentle glow as the Los Angeles Philharmonic fills the night with music. The Hollywood Bowl concert is not just a concert. It's a celebration of the city's artistic soul, an experience that resonates long after the last note fades. On our journey, we must pay homage to the Hollywood sign. This colossal symbol, initially erected in 1923 as an advertisement for a local real estate development, has become an international emblem of the entertainment industry. Its wide, towering letters evoke the allure of the silver screen and the dreams of stardom that have drawn countless dreamers to Los Angeles. What many may not realize is that maintaining this iconic symbol is a labor of love. In 1978, it was restored by a group of philanthropists, including Hugh Hefner, who organized a fundraiser to replace the deteriorating sign. The Hollywood Sign Trust now ensures its upkeep and preservation for generations to come, a testament to the city's commitment to preserving its history. As we continue our adventure, we find ourselves at the enchanting Magic Castle. Tucked away in the heart of Hollywood, this storied mansion has been a haven for illusionists and magic enthusiasts since 1963. A mansion turned club, it's an oasis where magicians of international acclaim perform their mesmerizing feats in intimate settings. Imagine being welcomed by a talking owl who guards the entrance, and then exploring the mansion's hidden passageways and secret chambers, each filled with mystifying performances. The Magic Castle is a place where reality blurs, curiosity takes hold, and the impossible feels tantalizingly close. Venturing westward, we arrive at the Getty Center, a fortress of art and culture nestled atop a hill. Designed by architect Richard Mayer, this modernist masterpiece is a gleaming proof of human creativity. As you stroll through its immaculate gardens, each step offers a new perspective on the city spreading below. The Getty Center is a blend of architectural splendor, artistic wonder, and it is an immersive experience. The modernist complex houses centuries of art, from classical such as Rembrandt, Manet, and Van Gogh to modern masterpieces. As you wander through its serene gardens, you are surrounded by the harmonious interplay of art, architecture, and nature. The Getty Center is a reminder that culture knows no boundaries and beauty transcends time. In a blink of an eye, we end up in the beachfront neighborhood of Venice. The Venice Boardwalk is a lively carnival of human expression where street performers, artists, and musicians converge. It's a place where the unexpected becomes the norm, and every step reveals a new adventure. Just a few blocks away lie the Venice canals, a serene contrast to the boardwalk's chaos. These picturesque waterways, inspired by Venice, Italy, offer a tranquil escape. Originally called Venice of America, It was brought into life by developer Abbott Kinney in 1905. As you stroll along the meandering paths, crossing arched bridges, you can't help but wonder at the audacity of creating a European dream in the heart of LA. As the sun dips below the horizon, we go back to the hills to take a drive along the winding Mulholland Drive. At the Mulholland Scenic Overlook, the city sprawls before us in a sea of lights. This is where the vastness of Los Angeles becomes tangible. This overlook is a place of contemplation where you can feel the city's heartbeat beneath your feet. The endless grid of streets and the glittering lights remind us of the dreams and stories etched into every corner of this sprawling metropolis, and you can't help but ponder the countless dreamers who have come to this city seeking stardom and success. And then you hear encouraging whisper brought by the wind. Anything is possible in this city of dreams. And here we are. I'm so excited to have incredible Carolyn Hennesy here with me. On television, Emmy Award-winning actress Carolyn Hennesy has dazzled as the deliciously vicious Penelope Ellisa on ABC's critically acclaimed series Revenge. She also joined the cast for the 5th season of the sleek Vampires Meet World saga, True Blood, and fast become a fan favorite as Rosalyn, the ageless vamp with a Texas twang. Prior to Revenge and True Blood, Hennesy was best known for her memorable work as Barbara on ABC's Cougar Town and for her Emmy-nominated work as Diane Miller on ABC's General Hospital. Kids across America also know her as the hilariously haughty Mrs. Chesterfield on Disney Channel's Jessie. On the big screen, Hennessy's credits include Click starring Adam Sandler, Legally Blonde 2 with Reese Witherspoon, and Terminator 3 starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and she stars in the soon-to-be-released horror film Saint Agatha. Most recently, she has starred in TBS online series Business Doing Pleasure, 2-sentence horror stories for Time Warner's new streaming channel, and On the Bay for Amazon Prime in the role of Karen Blackwell, for which she received her Emmy and a 2016 Indie Series Award. Hennesy received her training at the esteemed American Conservatory Theatre in San Francisco and the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London. Her razor-sharp comedic timing was honed as a member of the Groundlings Sunday Company and in Acme Theatre's main company. Hennesy has appeared in over 100 stage productions worldwide, most recently and to great acclaim as Maria Callas in Terrence McNally's Masterclass at the Gary Marshall Theater. Among other accolades, the LA Drama Critics Circle has distinguished her with the Natalie Schaffer Award, and the LA Stage Alliance has honored her with an Ovation Award. Hennessy's creative endeavors also include a successful career as a writer. She created the wildly popular Pandora children's book series, as well as penned the New York Times bestseller The Secret Life of Damian Spinelli. When not on set, Hennesy is privileged to lend her time to a number of causes, but she focuses on animal rescue, preservation, conservation, and advocacy with her online podcast, Animal Magnetism, on www.ubnradio.com. This past January 2nd, Hennesy crossed something off of her relatively short bucket list. She rode on a float of Lucy Pett Foundation in the Tournament of Roses parade. Now she simply has to go into space, hard, and fly over Disneyland as Tinkerbell to set off the fireworks, harder. And the bucket list is done. She lives in her native Los Angeles with 3 dogs and 1 cat, rescues all, and in what spare time is left, she flies trapeze. Please check out Carolyn's website, www.carolynhennessy.com. You can also follow her on Instagram at Carolyn Hennesy. Carolyn will share with us what it feels like to live in Los Angeles. Hello, Carolyn.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm spectacular. Thank you.
Oh my God. I was really, really looking forward to our conversation today. I'm absolutely happy that you're here with me today.
Thank you so much. It's really my pleasure. Ever since meeting you, I thought, well, this is a wonderful person who's doing wonderful things. So there you go.
Oh, you're so sweet. I felt the same about you. So, Carolyn.
Yes.
We all live in Los Angeles and we all have different perspective on this wonderful city. So it is often known as the entertainment capital of the world. And for those who have never been to Los Angeles, how would you describe the city's unique vibe and atmosphere? What do you think, in your own opinion, makes it stand out from other cities that you have experienced?
Well, first of all, it's incredibly large. It's sprawling. I just actually came home from Europe, and you look at some places like Budapest or Vienna or Regensburg or Passau in Germany, and you think, well, they're small and contained. Los Angeles is sprawling. So you have incorporated townships within Los Angeles. You've got the Valley, you've got the West Side. There's so much, and it's truly a melting pot that actually hasn't started melting yet, if that makes any sense.
Not yet.
There are so many people here. I mean, so many individual communities where like there's Thai town and Koreatown and Little Armenia and Little India. And you've got all of these places where these masses of the same ethnicity, the same culture, they're very present, but they're all very, very welcoming. So you can drive someplace and you can take almost like an infinite number of routes to get there. It's so kind of mesmerizing, this city. And it's a bit of a labyrinth. In the way it's sort of laid out. Some particular areas are very straight and square, and you can get from point A to point B without in a straight line, and some areas are not. You've got the magic of the Hollywood Hills and kind of all the history in the Hollywood Hills. There's Beverly Hills, which is you have to mortgage your house just to actually walk down the street. It's so expensive. But then you have places like Hancock Park, which is also sprawling, which has the grandeur of Beverly Hills, but with a tremendous amount of class. Yes. and rich history there. And then you've got the Valley and everything that's kind of happening in the Valley, and people from the West Side and West Los Angeles, they don't want to go to the Valley, except they secretly do, because there's parking and great food, and people are a little less, with their nose in the air. So it's really rich. Entertainment wise, you have all the studios sort of spread out. Mm-hmm. So you can't really cover all the studios. If you want to do like all the studio tours, you couldn't do them all in one day. And they're also huge. But you've got, for instance, NBC, Warner Brothers, Universal Studios, CBS, Radford. They're all within kind of quick minute driving distance. And then you've got 20th Century Fox, which is sort of standing alone over in Los Angeles. And then way down, you've got Sony and MGM, all within these incredible rich histories. And then, of course, there's Paramount. So entertainment is I think, the number one export of Los Angeles. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
But you can be driving and suddenly these studios just sort of rise out like these monoliths. And half the time you don't even know where they've come from or where you are. And then you realize you're in a part of the city that was traversed by Claudette Colbert and Joan Crawford and Betty Davis and Humphrey Bogart and, Alan Ladd. So you go from these pockets of kind of new history to then then these wonderful these old homes and these studios, and there's this rich history that dates back 100 years.
Yes.
It's wonderful. It's always mesmerizing. It's always lovely. It's a really beautiful city if you take the time to really look, because on the surface, and we have a burgeoning homeless problem, and we've got a little bit of urban blight, but it's a gorgeous city if you really take the time to look. So
yes, you sound like you're really in love with Los Angeles. This is what I feel.
Home. It's my home. I grew up here. So
Wow.
I've watched it change, sometimes not for the better, but it's still my home.
Wow.
And there's no place like it.
Yes. And it sounds a little bit overwhelming for a newcomer. So how would you advise, to navigate the city so it doesn't feel too overwhelming?
Well, get a map. That's number one. Just get a map. Get an actual physical map. Not a map of the stars' homes, because those are basically junk, but get a map. And if you are really so inclined and you want to know where you are living and you have the time, pick a neighborhood and drive around and Google it, get a history of that neighborhood, get a history of the Larchmont area or Hancock Park or El Segundo, or get a history of Studio City or Pasadena or Glendale or Burbank. Get a history of downtown Los Angeles, get a history of South Central and why you may not wish to go there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But get a history of Inglewood and Crenshaw, what's going on Crenshaw, the street Crenshaw, what's going on Wilshire? What's the longest street in the city? What about the West Side? Go look, check out Venice, go check out the Palisades, go check out Palos Verdes. They're all there for the taking, and they all have their own rich history. So I would say start with a map and go slow and pace yourself.
Yes.
For heaven's sakes, don't start with Malibu, because it's just, if you really want to know where you're living, Malibu, that's basically the cloud people live in Malibu, and the rest of us troglodytes are sort of
what happens in Malibu stays in Malibu, right?
What happens in Malibu stays in Malibu. Exactly.
So if you go there, you may never come back.
Yes. Yeah. It's very, very true. Again, very, very pretty, but that's the ocean. And if you're coming from Oklahoma or Nebraska or Kansas and you've never seen the ocean, take a day and walk along the ocean, walk along the beach, but then go inland. And there are many, many surprises and delights that await you inland. So some of the best food is here. Some of the greatest food is here. I mean, I've been to restaurants that I've never been to tastes and experiences that I've been to other high-end restaurants, and that kind of maybe serve sort of the same kind of theme, but you don't have the experience that you do here. And we have wonderful landmarks like the Magic Castle.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you. Like,
yes,
what are your favorite landmarks?
The Magic Castle, which is a mecca for magicians. I happen to be a member. I can't do a lick of magic, but I am just enthralled with magic. And this is one of the great, great, great clubhouses.
I agree.
You've got the Dorothy Chandler, where they used to hold the Oscars, the Shrine Auditorium, where I think they used to hold the Grammys, and those places have now been supplanted by, I think it's the Nokia Theater.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Nokia Theater, or I never know. The names change around here. But anyway, you've got Hollywood and Vine. Hollywood and Vine, which is a great, great intersection and a lot of history there. You have the Hollywood Bowl, which is one of the premier concert and philharmonic venues on the planet. Some of the other great landmarks. You have the old Pan Pacific Theater, and the marquees of which, these sort of standing towers of which were recreated by Disney, because they stand at the front of Disney's California Adventure, and they were lifted directly from the Pan Pacific Theater, where they used to hold the Ice Capades and the Ice Follies, which I don't think are in existence anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But it's part of a wonderful park. What other great monuments do we have? Well, we've got the Getty Museum, beautiful, but before that we have the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, which houses some of the most important and impressive collections, ever.
Yes.
Water towers. We have all the studio water towers, which you can see basically from anywhere. And driving around and seeing the Warner Brothers water tower is, it's a very, very special thing because, you're kind of in the presence of Hollywood greatness.
Yes.
We have Griffith Park and we have the observatory. The observatory, which can be seen in Rebel Without a Cause, James Dean and Sal Mineo and Natalie Wood, one of the great films.
That's an amazing movie. And the view
Right?
of the observatory is incredible in Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah.
In Terminator, you don't quite see the observatory itself, but you can see the majestic view.
The view of it. Yeah.
Yes, the view
Hollywood
of
sign.
the city. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, the Hollywood sign. Yes.
Hollywood sign, which used to be Hollywood Land because it was a real estate promotion to start. And now it's just Hollywood. And you can see it as your big jetliner is landing at LAX. You can look out the right side of the plane at that point. And when you see the Hollywood sign, at least for me, and the observatory, you think, oh, I don't know. I don't care where I've been. Now I'm home. I'm home. And it's wonderful. So Venice is a great location. The Venice Boardwalk is a great location. So those are just some of them. And listen, Hollywood Boulevard itself, for those who have never been here, it's a trip, man. It's really a trip to kind of walk down seeing the cosplay characters, playing some of your favorite characters from films, Jack Sparrow and the girls from Frozen and, Catwoman and all of these things. And all the shops and the theaters, Grauman's Chinese Theater. I think it was it Mann's Chinese Theater at one point?
It used to be Mann's, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will always call it Grauman's Chinese Theater because, seeing the handprints and the footprints of the stars. So there are some fun touristy things, but to anyone just coming here, a great thing to do if you're a tourist is take a drive along Mulholland Boulevard. Go up into the hills. See the city from both sides, see into the valley, see in the San Fernando Valley, and see, into Hollywood and the West Side, and see just how sprawling this place is. So
yes, well, Carolyn, you have just embraced the entire city. It is incredible.
I try.
You have a wealth of information about Los Angeles. I mean, listen, you can be a tour guide.
Go into Chinatown for some of the best dim sum you will ever have, and not just what we would consider to be Americanized Chinese food. Go for actual, full-on Chinese dim sum. Go into Koreatown for some great, Korean barbecue. There are sushi places all over the place, and you can always trust them because you're close to the ocean. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily trust a place, no disrespect meant, but I wouldn't necessarily trust a sushi place in Ohio. You know what I mean? But here,
I hear you. Well,
it's considered very, very fresh and wonderful. And then there's the downtown area with, the Pantry, which is, it's a restaurant that's never been closed. And serves some of the great steaks and chops, but then you go into little Tokyo and there's a great vegan sushi restaurant. So anything you want in Los Angeles, you can get it probably easier than in New York or London, and probably less expensive.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
You just have to have a car and be willing to drive.
Yes, yes, you do have to have a car here for sure. So, Carolyn, my next question to you is actually about your profession, because you wear so many hats and you're an actress and author and animal advocate. Could you please share with us how you juggle these different roles and what actually inspired you to pursue each of them?
Well, it's certainly a fair question because I know I seem like the busiest person on the planet, and in many ways I am. But one always has to remember when I'm asked this question, I don't do all 3, 4, or 5 things at once. Mm-hmm. When I'm acting, I'm not writing. When I'm preparing to act, I'm not writing. Or when I'm hosting an animal advocacy event, or I am an ambassador for my Los Angeles Zoo, which I love so much because of the incredible work that they are doing. Mm-hmm. And just as a side note, the activists who decry my museum, San Diego, my zoo, many of these activists, if you listen to them, they've never actually been in the zoo. So they don't really know what they're talking about. But for anyone interested, go to the zoo, ask any trainer, any keeper in Los Angeles, please tell me about what you do, and they will. and you will walk out with a tremendous respect for that institution. But also when I'm being an ambassador for the American Humane, I don't do everything all at once. I have to, I can't multitask like that. So time is given to everything. And that's one of the things that keeps me busy, but not everything all at once.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was going to be an actress from the age of 4.
Wow.
Yes, because my father was a motion picture production designer. So I was a studio brat, and I would try and visit my father at any studio he was working at anytime I could. Certainly after I got old enough to drive, I would really try and, go and say, hey, what are you working on now, Dad? Oh, Logan's Run. Oh, Fantastic Voyage. Oh, Young Frankenstein or Dirty Harry or whatever it was that I could actually, find him at, because I loved the sound stages. They are a second home for me. Mm-hmm. And I do remember when I was 4 and my mother took myself and my younger brother to visit my father on the set of Fantastic Voyage. I very clearly remember walking in and just being hit by this scent, the scent of, of history, old lumber, that kind of almost musty, dusty, probably mold and probably asbestos, smell that is part and parcel of the great old sound stages. And I thought, well, I don't know what this is, but I know I'm going to work here. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I'm going to be a part of it.
Wow.
And so
at 4 years old, you had this realization.
Yes. It's absolutely true. I had a brief and tragic flirtation with gymnastics at one point. That was sad. And then I realized, okay, no, never mind. Just go back to what you can do. And that was the theater and acting.
Wow, that's incredible. Carolyn, could you please talk a little bit more about your journey of establishing actually yourself in the entertainment industry? And what would you say were some of the challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome them? Because realizing it at 4 years old is just incredible. But
it's true. What
was it like?
Well, I was very lucky in a way, because when my peers at, junior high school, university, when they were kind of struggling to find themselves and what they wanted to do, I always had a direct through line to what I knew I was going to do. I was of a singular mind and like laser focused. So I started studying at a very early age. I didn't actually start really performing, certainly not professionally, until I was in my 20s, because I went off to American Conservatory Theater for a little bit. I went to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art for a time. I got a scholarship to a university here in Southern California. And when I was growing up at 19, my father passed away. So I will never know what, if anything, my father could have done for me career-wise, except I do know what he did for me before he passed. And, as an art director's daughter, there isn't really a great deal he probably could have done. He wasn't a director, or producer, or writer. So I consider myself extremely lucky that I had my father for as long as I did, because he was able to impart the great life lessons that I have taken with me and I have been able to impart to others. For instance, in the industry, and then of course you can extrapolate all of this into basic daily living. You respect the crew more than you respect anybody else, because they are the lifeblood of any production.
Yes.
Without them, it doesn't happen. Without you, sure, without them, you're acting in a vacuum. An actor, and any one crew member is usually a better individual than any 100 actors. And they work harder in a day than I will in a year. And they are usually better read, better educated, and smarter, and just more kinder people. But as a performer, my job on any set that I go on is to make everybody else's job easier. And that is something that I kind of extrapolated from all of my father's teachings, and simply to be a genuine human, and that makes you the better actor by being false and having your moral compass pointing south and kind of getting into trouble and getting involved in all these other things. That sort of diminishes you as a human, and it is in all probability you will be diminished as an actor or a performer. So always keep your moral compass pointing north, but basically respect everybody around you. Don't take crap, but respect everybody around you and what they do, and how can you be of service. Just be of service. And so I am so grateful that I had my father. I also had an aunt who was a rather famous actress named Barbara Rush, but I wasn't terribly close to her, so I didn't really get anything from her in terms of a philosophy of the business and a philosophy of life. So I'm grateful that I had my father, but I really had to pound the pavement.
Mhm.
I was not given anything. There was no nepotism, even though I had a wonderful pedigree in the business. Everything that I have earned myself.
Mhm.
And that's a great source of joy and pride for me. So I can say that, yes, everything everything you do adds to the person and the actor that you are. So at a certain point, I had built up enough of a resume and enough of a body of work that, yes, things then start to come your way, but nobody hands you anything. It's because of the work that you've done before.
Mhm.
And so you have, if somebody actually says, I want you in this movie, I'm going to give it to you. It's because of the work that you've done before. You have actually paid for that. Does that make sense? You've
Yes,
paid
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
It sounds that it has taken a lot of perseverance and hard work and, having this moral compass that you mentioned and continuously being a better person that took you to where you're at in your life right now.
It's a tremendous amount of hard work, because I know it sounds like, listen, I'm well over 40. So I can say it's very easily said, but truly hard won. Oh, mistakes were made right and left. Of course. So, and I would beat myself up, and then I would, go out and fail again and fail bigger and fail better. But everything that I say these were aha moments that came to me after years of struggling to find the philosophy, struggling to really understand myself. And also, I'm not trained to do anything else. So this whole acting thing had better pan out. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Because there were many, many dark moments where I thought I just wasn't getting hired in my youth. I think it was really in my late 20s, early 30s that I started making a consistent living as an actor. I make my living as an actor.
Yes.
And that's a joyous thing to say. But there were years where I didn't. I had to temp. I was a hostess at a restaurant. I was, all of these things. And when you know what you're put on the planet to do, and you're not being asked to do it, those were dark days, very dark days. But I somehow found, or was given, or knew that I had nothing else to rely on, this perseverance, I don't care what you throw at me, I'm going to do this. I don't care if I'm not able to do it, I will be. I don't care if you've said no to me. Someone's going to say yes. And they did. So it's just really a question of sticking to it, because the only way that you are sure to fail is if you leave, is if you give up. That's the only way that you're sure to fail, is if you give up. So stick to it. Yeah.
What a beautiful inspiration from you, Carolyn. Thank you so much for sharing your heart,
Thank you.
Sharing all these amazing, amazing things about our beloved city, Los Angeles. And I truly, truly enjoyed our conversation today. And
listen, one of the things you said, by the way, is where did you talk about what restaurants that I love? Did you ask me that question? What restaurants?
I think you mentioned the restaurants already. You did mention the restaurants.
I'm looking at the Blitz questions.
Yes, no, you answered this question. So, Carolyn, thank you so much for the conversation. I really, really enjoyed it. And you're very inspiring, and you're a beautiful human being. And I'm wishing you many, many more very productive, active years, both as an actress and as an author, and continue to do your work as an animal advocate.
Thank you. Well, let's chat again, shall we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Carolyn. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for tuning in to Feel and Experience Los Angeles with my special guest, Carolyn Hennesy. If you enjoy my podcast, In the Mood for California, please sign up for future episodes at your preferred platform, and please leave your feedback. I really appreciate your time and support. You can follow me on Instagram at In the Mood for California and check out my website www.inthemoodforcalifornia.com. I'm a realtor with Beverly & Company Luxury Properties, and my license number is 019-78714. Selling and buying homes with soul is not just my real estate strategy. It is an intuitive and holistic approach that embraces your values, aspirations, and conscious intentions. If you want to discover the power of mindfulness in your real estate journey with my compassionate guidance, I'm here for you. Next time, we're traveling to South Pasadena. Cannot wait to see you there.
In the Mood for California. Feel the soul of old Hollywood.